High-level talks have been held between President Muhammadu Buhari and his South African counterpart, Cyril Ramaphosa. President Ramaphosa arrived Abuja on a two-day state visit to Nigeria. The visit, which is the second by the South African leader since coming into power in 2018, is aimed at deepening relations between the two countries. On arrival at the forecourt of the State House, President Ramaphosa was accorded a befitting reception by President Muhammadu Buhari. Apart from exchanging pleasantries between the two leaders and their respective delegations, the visiting South African leader inspected a ceremonial guard mounted by a detachment of the Presidential Guard Brigade. During the visit, several agreements and memoranda of understanding were signed between Nigeria and South African government officials. This is to renew and further deepen the ties between the two countries, anchored on mutual respect and understanding. And still on the visits, Nigeria and South Africa have signed new memoranda of understanding on diverse areas, including youth development, women and children empowerment, political consultations, as well as other critical areas that will lead to increased people-to-people contact. The signing of the MOU was the climax of a successful state visit to Nigeria by President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa at the 10th session of the Nigeria-South African Binational Commission. Apart from the new memoranda of understanding on diverse areas such as youth development, women and children empowerment, and political consultations, as well as other areas that will lead to increased people-to-people contact, existing memoranda of understanding signed during the previous Binational Commission meetings were also revealed.
We also jointly launched the Nigeria-South Africa Youth Dialogue, another veritable tool for interaction among our youth with the aim of creating shared values and aspirations. Many of our youth from Nigeria and South Africa joined us virtually during the launch. I sincerely thank my brother, President Cyril Ramaphosa, for initiating this youth dialogue as continuous interaction between the youth of our two countries will further break down barriers and lead to better understanding among our people.
These new agreements between our two countries broaden the scope of our cooperation on issues of common interest and mutual benefit, and we will continue to work together to ensure their implementation.
Include memoranda of understanding on military cooperation, power cooperation in the field of geology, mining, mineral processing, oil and gas, and several others. Both countries have before now signed approximately 32 agreements, and on Wednesday added these other agreements, which would further strengthen the cooperation between the two countries and for the benefit of their citizens. Back home now, children have been urged to extol the virtues of unity and love, which Christmas preaches. The wife of the Ogtv governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abeokuta, said this at the opening of the 2021 Ogtv Father Christmas show. The occasion, attended by eminent dignitaries from both the public and the private sectors, including children, was held at the Alake Palace ground, from where Taiwo Adebiyi filed this package presented from our studio.
Christmas is a season of joy, gift giving, and coming together of families. And to make this period a remarkable and fun-filled one, Ogun State Television yearly organizes a Father Christmas fun fair for children to enjoy themselves and to enjoy the mood of the season. The opening ceremony of this year's show was at the Alake Palace ground, Abeokuta, where the Father Christmas grotto is also located. Wife of the Ogun State Governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abeokuta, represented by Dr. Elizabeth Oyileye, Head of Service, Dr. Nafiu Aigoro, Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Alhaji Waheed Dushile, Alake of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, represented by Bantu of Egbaland, Chief Kehinde Shofenwa, management team of Ogun State Television, led by the Acting General Manager, Mr. Tune Kazim, graced the occasion. There were also Honorable Luda Isielemide and Honorable Yusuf Adejojo of the Ogun State House of Assembly in attendance, among others. Wife of the Governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, declared the event open.
I would like to acknowledge and appreciate the contributions of Ogtv for their support of women, children and pupils of the state through this medium and over the course of your work in the past year.
There were also goodie messages at the event.
The government is so passionate about education. And seeing our younger ones like this, seeing the performances by the schools, even up to the point of the special needs students, I'm sure our educational program is on course.
I want to appreciate Ogtv for putting this together and to let them know that we as mothers appreciate them for remembering our children during this festive season.
Education is a legacy that we can give our children because they are the future leaders of this great country. And all work without play makes Jack a dull boy. A season of Christmas, I believe, is a season for reflection. It's a season for us to think deep as human beings and look at a year that has gone and how much we have been able to do to impact love and to impact joy upon the earth.
Earlier in his welcome address, Acting General Manager of the station, Mr. Tune Kazim, recalled that Ogtv was a Christmas gift to the people of Ogun State. He also explained the benefits involved in being a visitor to the Father Christmas Grotto. Pupils from various schools in the state entertained guests with their performances. One of the dignitaries, Special Advisor to the Ogun State Governor on Women Affairs, Honorable Adijat Adeleye Oladapo, whose daughter clocked 17 years, marked her birthday by paying for 17 children's visit to the Santa Claus. The Ogtv Father Christmas Grotto will run till the 24th of December, 2021.
The University of Ibadan Alumni Association Ogun State Branch has inducted the Head of Service, Dr. Nafiu Aigoro, into its prestigious Council of Elders as a result of his laudable contributions to the development of the association. The chairman of the association, Mr. James Ademosun, who led the group to decorate Dr. Aigoro in his office at Okemosan, Abeokuta, explained that the Council of Elders comprises matured, experienced, and retired members of the association, including the Alake of Egbaland, Oba Dr. Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, and other retired heads of service that offer advice and support needed to move the group forward. Mr. Ademosun, who revealed that the association came to rejoice with him, said Dr. Aigoro was the seventh in line of members that consecutively occupied the exalted position of the head of service of Ogun State in the last 9 years, soliciting for support in securing land for the permanent secretariat, among other requests. In his acceptance speech, the head of service, Dr. Nafiu Aigoro, who described University of Ibadan as the best in Nigeria, appreciated his association for the honor done him and called on them to continue to lift the banner of the school.
To uphold the name of our university, our alma mater, by doing the best in all our endeavors. Wherever we are, we must carry the flag of the University of Ibadan, right, and sustain the prestigious name of our alma mater. I know there are so many of us doing fine, and we should continue to be good role model for the upcoming UIs. And whatever we can do to sustain this through our activities in our association, we should do.
That was the Ogun State Head of Service, Dr. Nafiu Aigoro, when UI Alumni Association inducted him into Council of Elders of the institution. With determination to develop a generation of youth who are employers of labor, the Industrial Training Fund Abeokuta Area Office had its 2021 Interactive Forum for clients and stakeholders. The event, which attracted dignitaries across the state, was also an avenue for the unveiling of the ITF 2022 Learning Development Program. Runke Adeyemi has the details.
The major objective of the Industrial Training Fund, ITF, is to provide, promote and encourage acquisition of skills with a view to generating a pool of indigenously trained manpower sufficient to meet the need of the private and public sectors of the economy. And to further promote this objective, ITF Abeokuta Area Office had its 2021 Interactive Forum for Clients and Stakeholders at the ITF Complex, Okemoso, Abeokuta, with this year's theme, Winning in Adversity, Consideration for the New Normal. The event was graced by dignitaries across the state, captain of industries, CWES coordinators and institution directors. Keynote speaker and speaker, Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, urged you to take advantage of any opportunity that creates empowerment.
Adversity can either break you or what? Break you. The choice is yours. When one touched by adversity, they fall down and they never get back up. Some go through adversity and discover their true self. The energy in them will come up. Something strange in them will come out that don't think you had before.
Area Manager, ITF Abeokuta Area Office, Mrs. Fumi Koka, explains that the ITF remains committed to technical skills despite complications posed by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Engaged in meaningful economic ventures through various social investment programs and the numerous skills acquisition programs being implemented by the Industrial Training Fund and other federal government agencies with similar mandates. It is therefore apparent that the federal government has done remarkably well in reducing poverty and creating jobs and should be applauded for its efforts, even with the slight setback caused by the coronavirus pandemic.
Awards were then presented to the keynote speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, as well as Dangote PLC, Under Manufacturing Nigeria Limited, and the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, for their contributions. Aderunke Adeyemi, Ogtv News.
And still ahead in the news, federal government commences enforcement of mandatory COVID-19 vaccination for civil servants. More news and reports after this time out. Glad to know that you're still there. The news continues. Towards reducing the spread of HIV in Ogun State, government has purchased and distributed over 25,000 HIV test kits across the 20 local government areas to reduce the menace among the people. Executive Secretary, Ogun State Agency for the Control of AIDS, Dr. Kehinde Fatugashi, disclosed this in Abeokuta at an awareness walk organized to round off the year 2021 World AIDS Day celebration, assuring of government support for people living with HIV/AIDS in the state. Dr. Fatugashi noted that the present administration had embarked on various measures to curb the spread of the virus, which includes HIV prevention in correctional facilities, strong referral linkage of all identified cases, promoting human rights and gender equality, among others. The Executive Secretary pointed out that the sensitization work would further create awareness about the virus among the populace, noting that the agency embarks on regular monitoring of local agency for the control of AIDS and ensures that those on medication are properly monitored, particularly children.
the state now, we have been on aggressive community screening. And this has been on since past 6 months. And the essence of the screening is for us to discover as many positive that are yet to be discovered so that we can put them on drugs.
On our part, the state coordinator, people living with HIV/AIDS in the state, Mrs. Olubomi Lawal, urged people to take advantage of the free HIV testing and counseling to know the status and, if discovered to be positive, seek available intervention to abate the spread. The federal government has commenced the enforcement of mandatory vaccination against COVID-19 at the Federal Secretariat, Abuja, as early as 7 in the morning on Wednesday. Security men manned the main entrance to the Federal Secretariat, where they demanded either a vaccination card or evidence of negative PCR test before allowing the civil servants to enter the Secretariat. Some of the unvaccinated civil servants, however, questioned the federal government's decision, saying COVID-19 vaccination should not be made compulsory but a matter of choice. The Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 had earlier given a directive mandating all federal civil servants to be vaccinated or present COVID-19 card effective from December 1, 2021. The enforcement of the mandatory vaccination comes amid fears of new Omicron coronavirus variants. And still on COVID-19, the total number of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 confirmed in Nigeria is now 3, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control said on Wednesday. NCDC Director General Dr. Ifedayo Adetifa, who confirmed this in a statement, explained that the agency had conducted case and genomic surveillance for inbound international travelers arriving in the country at its national reference laboratory in Abuja and the network of other testing laboratories. He stated that sequencing of samples from COVID-19 positive travelers was conducted in laboratories with sequencing capacity in the country, while all the sequencing data were shared in publicly accessible databases. According to him, the NCDC said Omicron is spreading globally, given the increasing number of countries reporting the variant. Adetifa gave an assurance that the NCDC will continue to expand its sequencing capacity in the country through a network of public health laboratories and other partners. Away from that now, the Senate on Wednesday amended the National Health Insurance Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2021. The amendment of the law followed the consideration of a motion for recommittee of some clauses by the Committee of the Whole. The Senate leader, Yahaya Abdullahi, who sponsored the motion for a recommittee, recalled that the National Assembly transmitted the bill after its passage to President Muhammadu Buhari for assent on April 23, 2021. He observed that the President, after critical examination of the bill, raised some fundamental issues which, according to him, required fresh legislative action to clauses 20, 24, 24.2 and 25.2c. Senator Abdullahi explained that the decision by the National Assembly to amend the bill was in line with the need to address all observations raised by the President. Accordingly, the upper chamber deleted clause 20 of the bill, which provides for third-party administrator. It also amended the provisions of clause 24.2 on the implementation of the Basic Health Care Fund. The Senate also amended the provisions of clause 25 by deleting clause 25c on the establishment and sources of vulnerable group fund. The upper chamber introduced a new clause to replace the deleted one. The new clause provides for special intervention funds allocated by government and appropriated by the National Assembly as a source for the vulnerable group fund. The amendment was proposed by Chairman of the Health Committee, Secondary and Tertiary, Yahaya Oloriegbe, Kwara Central, and seconded by Sadiq Umar Suleiman, Kwara North. Ogun State government will not relent in its efforts by providing a living environment for teachers to do their jobs and at putting a stop to the issues of moral decadence in all schools across the state. Chief of Staff to the State Governor, Alhaji Shuaib Afolabi Salisu, dropped the hint at the Grand Retirement Celebration Party for retiring Principal General, Egba Division, Alaja Sekinat Omolola Ogunwolu. The event was held at Abeokuta Club Hall, Abeokuta. Benga Dekoya's report is presented in this package.
Operation of meritorious service it was at the hall of Abeokuta Club, where Alaja Sekinat Omolola Ogunwolu, the Principal General, Egba Division, bows out of service after 35 years. Ogun State Governor Prince Abeokuta was represented by his Chief of Staff, Alhaji Shuaib Afolabi Salisu.
We will do everything possible to protect our teachers in the discharge of their duties. It's a responsibility that we owe. No part of Ogun State will be safe ever for criminals or criminal tendencies, whether from students or from any segment of the society. And we are taking very bold measures in this regard. And I do hope that the parents, the CDAs, the community leaders, the traditional rulers, the religious leaders, they will also use the various platforms they have to emphasize to students, you are sent to school to learn, not just learning, but also mold your character.
The chairman, Ogun State Teaching Service Commission, Evangelist Ifede Olalekan Joshua, led other dignitaries to deliver farewell speeches at the event.
We are so happy because of many of the achievements that she succeeded in making despite the challenging situations of the state, despite the challenges among us around that office.
A very committed personality who believes in goals. I am here to celebrate her, not just because we together for her, but the little time we spent together, while I'm as the chairman of the commission and as the PD of the guard division, she has distinguished herself.
Alaja Sekinat Omolola Ogunwolu thanks God for the journey so far.
By our education-loving governor, Prince Abeokuta MFR, he had done me well. It is the crescendo of the career. It gladdens my heart. For me, I love challenges. When I got my 17 in 2013, I was like, what else would I do?
Alaja Sekinat Omolola Ogunwolu became the Principal General Egba Division on September 29, 2020. She is the first female to occupy the seat of Principal General in Egba Division. Cutting of celebration cake, presentation of gifts, and different cultural display wrapped up the event.
Here is wishing her good health in retirement. A united Awori Kingdom would engender a strong and indivisible cultural and political entity for a secured and prosperous land. This was the submission of the academics at the coronation lecture organized by the Olojaekun Coronation Celebration Committee in collaboration with the Association of Awori Intellectuals to mark 90 days in office of the Olojaekun of Awori land, Oba Abdulaziz Akinde. Margaret Okunlola reports.
As part of activities lined up to commemorate the 12th coronation anniversary of Olojaekun of Igbesa land, Oba Abdulaziz Akinde, the Olojaekun Coronation Celebration Committee, OCC, in collaboration with Association of Awori Intellectuals, organized the coronation lecture with the theme Restructuring and Harmonization of Awori land, now and beyond. The chairman of Awori think tank, Ogbeni Oyetaiwo, said he would rather call for defragmentation than restructuring.
The best thing for us is to defragment so that our mindset will change.
Dignitaries present corroborated the narrative by pointing out ways to achieve restructuring for the progress and growth of Awori land.
It's a clarion call to sons and daughters of Awori land so that we can collaborate and get our rightful place in the scheme of things in Ogun State and in Nigeria as a whole.
We will achieve it by unity. If there's unity among the Awori Obas, there's a unity among the Awori people, among the Awori associations, it's achievable.
The 12th Olojaekun of Igbesa land, Oba Abdulaziz Akinde, charged all to come together and form a strong, formidable, indivisible force.
a lecture that confirmed the yearning of Awori people to be together, to unite, and forge forward in future for future developments of the whole Igbesa land. So it's very, very important as a reminder to us as the work we need to do.
Oba Abdulaziz Akinde also stressed the need to reorientate youths and guide them in the right path for a better future for Awori people. Margaret Okunlola, Ogtv News.
And from Lagos State, the state government has rejected the resolution of the Judicial Panel of Inquiry on restitution for victims of sex-related abuses and other matters that no fewer than 9 persons lost their lives when armed soldiers stormed the Lekki toll gate to disperse NSAS protesters on October 20, 2020, insisting only 1 person was killed. This claim, which was contained in a 41-page white paper released by the state government on Tuesday night, countered the findings by the Justice Doris Okuwobi-led panel that 9 persons were killed by gunshots at the toll gate. Out of the 32 recommendations made by the Judicial Panel of Inquiry, the government accepted 11, rejected 1, and accepted 6 with modifications, while 14 recommendations fall outside the powers of the Lagos State government and will be forwarded to the federal government for consideration. A federal high court in Abuja has dismissed a suit to invalidate the election of Professor Charles Soludo in the just concluded Anambra State governorship poll. The suit seeks to nullify the victory of the governor-elect and the deputy governor-elect, Onyeka Ibezim, on allegations that Soludo provided false information to the Independent National Electoral Commission. Justice Taiwo dismissed the suit on the ground that it lacked merit and that it was a waste of the court's time. He urged the plaintiffs not to use the court as a tool to stagnate democracy. He also awarded 2 million naira to the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Soludo and Ibezim, who were the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th respondents in the suit. The plaintiffs, Adindu Valentine and Ukodike Chukwebuka, through their lawyer Calvin Okoko, claimed that Soludo provided false information in the affidavit submitted to the electoral umpire. Delivering his judgment, Justice Taiwo dismissed the preliminary objection challenging the competence of the suit and jurisdiction of the court to hear it. He, however, held that the plaintiffs failed to establish that they had a reasonable cause of action and could not convince the court on how the alleged false information both Soludo and Ibezim supplied to INEC misled them. Up next is business news.
You're welcome to the business news. The Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar Aliyu, said Nigeria will suscitate talks with Chad on establishing a partnership on electricity. The minister added that Nigeria and Chad stand to benefit from more cooperation. He said this while receiving the Chadian ambassador to Nigeria and his team, who paid him a courtesy visit in his office in Abuja. Engineer Abubakar Aliyu directed the ministry's technical team to reactivate talks towards establishing partnership on electricity between the two countries. Earlier, the Chadian ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Abubakar Saleh, said they visited the minister to seek reactivation of talks on partnership on electricity between Chad and Nigeria. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Issa Pantami, has called for a global approach towards tackling cybercrime. Pantami said this when he spoke at a forum of technology ministers at the Future Tech Forum on the future of the Internet trends and opportunities in London. He said that the global approach was necessary as the need for datafication kept increasing among global economies. The minister noted that the need for a daily increase in data collection would continue to rise at a significant pace. He stressed the need for government to prioritize the protection and judicious use of data. As dollar shortage in the Nigerian economy continues to hit the air travel industry harder, foreign airlines flying into the country have stopped local travel agencies and firms from selling tickets to intending inbound Nigerian passengers. The carriers also barred Nigerian travel agencies from selling tickets to intending passengers whose travel itineraries neither originate nor terminate in Nigeria. This is known in air travel parlance as SOTO ticket, meaning sold out, ticketed out. The move is currently affecting many Nigerian students abroad who are seeking to buy tickets from Nigerian travel agents to come home for the Yuletide. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has raised the volume of foreign exchange sales to the small and medium enterprises category businesses by 31% in the first 7 months of this year, January to July 2021. Findings from the CBN's schedule of foreign exchange flows through the Nigerian economy indicated that a total of $867.68 million was sold to the SMEs during the period, as against $660.9 million in the corresponding period of 2020. However, in March 2020, the Apex Bank suspended sales of forex to SMEs due to the COVID-19-induced economic lockdown. In the review period of 2021, CBN made the highest sales of forex, amounting $153.58 million to SMEs in June. This was higher by 47% when compared to $104.2 million sold in the corresponding period of 2020. And lastly, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council has intensified its engagement with farmers, food processors, and stakeholders involved in export trade to increase the volume of non-oil export contribution to the nation's gross domestic product. The council also noted that as part of steps to address setbacks of Nigerian export penetration of international market, the body, through the Export Expansion Facility Program, would intensify effort on capacity building programs. It said farmers, food processors, and value chain operators in the 10 selected export products drawn from across 20 states selected for the first pilot phase to change the export of non-oil product narratives will be trained on good agricultural, warehousing, and manufacturing practices, gap factors, hazard critical control point, and food safety and quality standards issues, which are a key requirement in export under the DEEFP on a continuous basis. And that's the end of Business News tonight. Many thanks for watching. Back to Bukola for other segment of the news.